I saw bloody sheets piled everywhere. I saw broken pictures with blood on them, and I looked down and I saw his dad's leg.
I believe the state has, in fact, met the verdict. So therefore, I am going to find that there is probable cause to charge the individual with the pound over for general sessions court with no charges.
Tyler Hadley. On July 16, 2011, more than 60 people gathered at 17-year-old Tyler Hadley's house in Port St. Lucie, Florida, for a party, unaware that his parents' corpses were right behind the door leading to the master's bedroom. At 1:15 p.m. on July 16, 2011, Tyler posted on Facebook, inviting friends to a party at his house. What his guests didn't know was that Tyler had just killed his parents, Blake and Mary Jo Hadley, with a hammer and hid their bodies in the master bedroom. Tyler Hadley, a troubled teenager, committed a heinous act that rocked the whole of Port St. Lucie. Now, Tyler had been dealing with personal issues for some time. Born prematurely on December 16, 1993, he spent his first month in an incubator. As he grew older, he took various medications for depression, hormones, and thyroid issues, among other conditions. By the age of 16, Tyler faced behavioral problems. He reportedly self-medicated with alcohol, marijuana, Xanax, Percocet, oxycodone, ecstasy, and the hallucinogen DMT. His relatives described him as loving but withdrawn, dealing with anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and bulimia. He often quit sports, hobbies, and projects like learning to play drums and trombone soon after starting, feeling he wasn't good enough or was a step below others. Tyler had a history of criminal behavior, including arson, vandalism, theft, and battery. He also faced a civil suit for injuring a child while driving his father's car in June 2010. Despite his parents seeking help, Tyler's frustrations culminated in a horrifying act of violence on July 16, 2011. Tyler decided to kill his parents and throw a party. He had shared his plan with his friend, Michael Mandel, a few weeks before, but Mandel didn't take him seriously. Around 1:15 p.m., Tyler posted a message on Facebook saying, "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." In his plan to prevent his parents from seeking help, Tyler took their phones. He then consumed 3 pills of ecstasy, fearing he couldn't go through with his plan sober. He armed himself with a hammer from the garage and attacked his mother, Mary Jo, who was sitting at the computer. He struck her 36 times, leading to her death. When his father Blake rushed in upon hearing the screams, Tyler turned his rage on him, killing him with 39 blows to the head and chest. After the brutal act, he covered his face with towels and dragged their bodies into their bedroom. Around 8 p.m., Tyler invited friends to his party, falsely claiming his parents were out of town. Using his parents' credit card, he bought beer, cigarettes, and drugs, urging friends to bring more. He picked up some of his friends and drove them to his house in his father's car. Despite the gruesome act, Tyler threw a party with over 60 people attending, unaware of the horrifying reality just behind a bedroom door. All throughout the party, Tyler's behavior was erratic, alternating between happiness and sadness, laughter and tears. He told several people he had killed his parents, but most of them didn't believe him, thinking he was joking. One person who did believe him was his best friend, Michael Mandel, who had known Tyler since kindergarten. Tyler took Mandel for a walk outside and confessed. He showed Mandel a bloody footprint in the garage, bloodstains, and ultimately the bodies in the bedroom buried under rubble, bloody towels, broken glass, and furniture. Mandel was horrified.
After he told me, I didn't believe him because he's been my best friend forever. I would never suspect anything like this. And I was looking around. He told me if I look good enough, I can see signs. I looked on the floor, I could see signs of blood. And that's when I went around back and looked in his parents' bedroom.
That night, Michael took a picture with him, scared of what Tyler might do if he left. He also felt sorry for Tyler and wanted to help.
I saw bloody sheets piled everywhere. I saw broken pictures with blood on them, and I looked down and I saw his dad's leg.
Around 4:30 a.m., he finally left the party and called the local crime hotline to report the murders.
The kid up, and he was like, he told me, he told me that, like, the gist of it, that he did something to his parents, and I was like, bro, I don't want to know any details. He said he already called and reported everything to Crime Stoppers. I was just calling because I felt like I needed to.
He provided Tyler's name and address, stating he killed his parents with a hammer. At 4:40 a.m., Tyler posted on Facebook again, announcing another party at his house. "Party at my house again, hit me up." However, the police arrived shortly after and arrested Tyler. In the bedroom, they found the bodies of Blake and Mary Jo, along with the bloody hammer. They also found drugs, alcohol, and evidence of the party in the house. Tyler faced 2 counts of first-degree murder. Initially pleading not guilty, he changed his plea to no contest in February 2014. Waiving his right to a jury trial, he agreed to be sentenced by a judge. His defense argued that he was mentally ill and under the influence of drugs during the murders. They presented evidence of his medical and psychological history and testimony from experts and family members. They also claimed Tyler had suffered abuse and neglect by his parents, a contention denied by his brother and other relatives. They asked for leniency and mercy, saying that Tyler was remorseful and had potential for rehabilitation. However, Tyler's courtroom demeanor left everyone dumbfounded, as he displayed no remorse or emotions during his trial and sentencing.
It is hereby the judgment and sentence of the court that as to both counts 1 and 2, the defendant be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. I'm going to make these sentences consecutive.
Judge Robert R. Macomson in St. Lucie County handed Hadley 2 life sentences, describing the crime as brutal, heinous, and premeditated. The judge remarked that Tyler had sacrificed his parents for a party and accused him of manipulating experts and lying about hearing voices. The death penalty was not an option due to Hadley's age at the time of the deaths. His attorney had argued for 2 30-year sentences to be served concurrently, with a review after 20 years. However, the severity of the crime resulted in a harsher penalty. In December 2018, Tyler was resentenced to life in prison. Now, this next case is also a sad story of a 17-year-old pyromaniac who lit his house on fire, including his younger brother. Jacob Morgan. Jacob Morgan faced tragedy at just 17 when he accidentally lit a fire that took the life of his 14-month-old stepbrother, Joshua Hill, in Rock Hill, South Carolina, on March 21, 2015. Due to this incident, Morgan, who has autism, was arrested and charged with murder, arson, and unlawful neglect of a child. Morgan's childhood was challenging, marked by abuse, neglect, and instability. He was born to a drug-addicted mother who abandoned him when he was just a baby. His grandmother, Julie Hildover, adopted him and married Mike Hill, a truck driver. The couple had another son, Joshua Hill. Diagnosed with autism at a young age, Morgan grappled with social and emotional challenges. He also struggled with mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Experiencing bullying at school and having few friends, he often withdrew into his room, spending his time playing video games or watching movies. Morgan had developed a peculiar interest in fire, expressing it through drawing, writing, and experimenting. He collected lighters, matches, candles, and other flammable materials, occasionally setting fire to objects like paper, plastic, and wood. He even attempted to burn down a shed in his backyard, but his grandmother intervened. On March 21, 2015, Morgan's grandmother and stepfather left him alone with his brother while they ran errands. Despite being entrusted with his brother's care, Morgan started a fire in his bedroom. The tragic consequences of this decision would shape the course of his life. Morgan ignited a pile of clothes and blankets on his bed with a lighter. Without alerting anyone or calling for help, he left the house, locked the door behind him, and waited outside. The fire swiftly engulfed the mobile home, filling it with smoke and flames. Unfortunately, Joshua, in another bedroom, couldn't escape and succumbed to smoke and burns. The neighbor called 911 and restrained Morgan from entering the burning house until firefighters arrived. They found Morgan sitting on the ground, crying and shaking. He confessed to starting the fire and that his brother was still inside. They tried to rescue Joshua, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. In custody, the police interrogated Morgan. However, his confession included varying accounts of how the fire began. Initially, he claimed he accidentally threw a pillow near a heater, later admitting to lighting and tossing a pillow in the air. Fire experts indicated evidence of 2 fires, one in the living room and another on a blanket in the master bedroom where Joshua slept. During the preliminary court hearings, Morgan, while the prosecutor testified about the fire that claimed Joshua's life, broke down in tears and prayed for mercy.
That is caused by a burn pattern that goes from underneath that child towards the door of the bed. That is caused by likely something, it's a significant burn pattern as he described it. It could have been alcohol, it could have been something else that gets consumed by the fire, but a significant burn pattern shows that there is something said significant and intentional.
Initially charged with murder, arson, and unlawful neglect of a child, Morgan faced the possibility of a life sentence or even the death penalty. However, his age, mental condition, and lack of family support complicated his case. Despite the charges, his family stood by him, asserting his innocence and claiming he got coerced into confessing by the police. They argued that he didn't understand the consequences of his actions. Morgan's parents claimed that neighbors restrained him from entering the fire to save his brother. They also said he loved his brother, portraying him as a victim of his illness. To defend him, they hired lawyer B.J. Barraclough. Barraclough argued for Morgan's incompetence to stand trial, advocating for psychiatric treatment instead of imprisonment. He presented evidence of Morgan's autism, trauma, and abuse history, challenging the validity of the confession and his fire obsession. The prosecution, led by Deputy Solicitor Willie Thompson, maintained that Morgan was guilty and that he acted with malice and premeditation. They presented evidence of Morgan's fire experiments, writings, and drawings. They also pointed out his emotional detachment and failure to save his brother. The case endured several hearings, motions, and appeals for a year. Eventually, an Alford plea deal was reached. Morgan accepted punishment without admitting guilt. He pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter, third-degree arson, and unlawful neglect of a child. Morgan received a 5-year sentence for involuntary manslaughter and a 10-year sentence for unlawful conduct, to be served consecutively for a total of 15 years in prison. He also got sentenced to 15 years for arson. However, this sentence was reduced to 5 years probation.
I believe the state has, in fact, met their burden, so therefore I am going to find that there is probable cause to charge the individual with the found over before General Sessions Court.
At his sentencing, Morgan, overwhelmed, broke down hysterically. Morgan's currently serving his sentence at a correctional facility in South Carolina. He became eligible for parole in December 2022 after serving 85% of his time. Additionally, he must undergo mental health counseling and avoid any contact with fire.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Day 3 after murdering somebody.
What?
Sierra Halseth and Aaron Gurerrero. Sierra Halseth and Aaron Gurerrero were a typical young couple deeply in love. Their romance began in June 2020, and they dated for approximately 6 months. However, their parents disapproved of the relationship, leading to a prohibition on seeing each other. Rather than accepting this decision, the duo chose to run away and embark on a new life together. To achieve this, they had to remove one obstacle: Sierra's father, Daniel Halseth. On April 9, 2021, Sierra and Aaron stabbed Daniel over 70 times and put his body in a sleeping bag. Then they tried dismembering his body with a chainsaw and a circular saw, and then set his body ablaze. The teenagers had acquired a circular saw, saw blades, bleach, lighter fluid, disposable gloves, and a drop cloth from stores near Halseth's residence. They withdrew hundreds of dollars from one of his bank accounts. In their attempt to escape, they absconded with Halseth's car and took his credit cards and money. Their destination was Utah. But their escape was short-lived, as they found themselves in custody just 4 days later. After police arrested the couple, investigators found a video on Sierra's phone showing the couple giggling and discussing what officials said was her father's killing. The gruesome details of the crime shocked the public, especially when a video surfaced of the two teens joking about the murder and saying they had sex afterward.
I don't know what to say.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. After
Day
murdering, Day 3 after murdering somebody.
Wow! Don't put that on the camera.
It was worth it.
And we had sex a lot today.
It was worth it. I got plenty of sex. So I was payment for doing it.
And no bleeding this time.
This young couple faced 9 charges, including murder with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit murder, arson, robbery with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit robbery, and 4 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card or debit card. They initially pleaded not guilty but changed their plea to guilty in May 2022 as part of a deal to avoid the death penalty. In October 2022, they were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 22 years. They also had to pay $5,000 in restitution to Daniel's family.
On count 2, you're going to be sentenced to life in the Nevada Department of Corrections with the possibility of parole after 20 years has been served, plus a consecutive 24 to 60 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections for the deadly weapon enhancement. Count 2 is ordered to run concurrent to count 1. On count 3, you're going to be sentenced to 72 to 180 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. That's ordered to run concurrent to count 2. On count 4, you're going to be sentenced to 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. That's ordered to run concurrent to count 3.
When the judge said their punishment, Aaron broke down in tears, and Sierra showed no emotions or signs of remorse. Sierra wrote a letter and said her father was a drug addict and a pedophile who hurt her and made her feel bad. She also claimed she suffered from mental health issues and that Aaron was her only source of support. Aaron also read a statement where he expressed remorse to Daniel's family. He said, "He didn't deserve to pass in such a horrible way." Daniel's family, however, did not accept their apologies. They described him as a loving and caring father who tried to protect his daughter from a bad influence. They said that Sierra and Aaron showed no remorse and deserved maximum punishment. They also displayed photos of Daniel in court to remind the judge and the public of the victim behind the crime. The case of Sierra and Aaron had raised questions about the nature of their relationship, the motives behind their actions, and the role of social media in their lives. Some experts have suggested that they suffered from a psychological condition known as folie à deux, or shared psychosis, in which 2 people share delusional beliefs and act on them. Others have pointed out the influence of violent movies, video games, and online content on their behavior. Some have also wondered if they were truly in love or were only using each other for their own purposes. Whatever the case may be, the tragic outcome of their love story has left a lasting impact on everyone involved, especially Daniel's family, who will never see him again. And that's it for today's video. If you want to see more crazy courtroom moments, please check out this video and don't forget to subscribe.